Hello, true believers, and welcome to another episode of One Shot. I'm your host, Jacob. Wow, what a new comic book day, am I right? It was huge for me. So many titles, so many good ones, a lot of mediocre ones, to be honest, but big day. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start by pulling one from last week that I completely forgot to mention, and I actually wanted to talk about since he's my favorite character of all time. He's up there. Spider Man, the Amazing Spider Man 63. Honestly, Nick Spencer has had this series way too long. We need new blood, and soon. And there's an issue I'll talk about coming up uh, where I was thoroughly happy, and maybe they need to pull some new writers like him into it. But Nick Spencer has taken this too long. It's goofy, not in the good Spider-Man goofy, but his new suit, hate it. Do not like it. The design is okay, but it's a suit that streams to social media, and uh, it's like if a boomer was trying to write how young millennials today think, and it's not like that for everybody, especially people like me. I spend as little time on social media as I can, but did not like it. Not really liking where this story's going. The previous story arc with Kindred, it had great potential and then just fell flat. And it's like they just tabled it and are going to bring it back another time. Hopefully they do that soon and then they do it justice like it deserves. But not enjoying it. Nonstop Spider-Man. The first issue was good. This one, not so good. The first issue, it felt a lot like that, the movie Speed or Cranked. This one, it's just, I don't know what they're doing with it, where they're going with it. And honestly, I don't know how much more time and money I'm going to spend trying to figure it out. Kind of a flop this week for that one. Now let's get into something good. Spider-Man, Spider Shadow, #1. This is a what if comic. What if Spider-Man became Venom? Chip Zdarsky, I believe, wrote this, and it's fantastic. It's so good starting out. Like, they start back in the old stuff where he's still struggling, finding out what the suit is. It's an alien symbiote, and whether he should get rid of it or not. In this story, he keeps it. And we're seeing the side effects of what happens to him now that he's kept the suit. Great read. Highly recommend it. If you can find this one, pick it up. Darkhawk, Heart of the Hawk. I know absolutely nothing about the original Darkhawk. Only thing I know, everybody seems to think issue 1 is a huge joke. So, going along with that, I didn't go into this with any expectations. There's 2 stories in it, but they connect. The first story was okay. It seemed like it would have been written when the original was written. And then the second one, it seems to be almost like they're starting fresh. They're starting over. They're going to, I don't know, maybe get a different person for the suit of Darkhawk, perhaps. But the second story I thought was done very well. The art was done well. It was written fairly well. So yeah, I might actually pick up the second one. maybe not a big joke after all. The Autumnal. This is a Vault Comics. This is issue number 6. Finally, something is happening in this story. It's been a slow burn, but it has been a good read. The writing is very good. So it's never bored me. And they just give you just enough to want to go to the next one, I recommend, though, if you're not a very patient person, get this in a trade, the paperbacks, because you'll just fly through it a lot better. But things are finally starting to pick up. Things are happening. We're finally getting into the history of this little town and what happens during the autumnal season. I believe it's the winter equinox. There's something quite sinister afoot. So, very good story. Recommend the trades, though. All right, I did it. I've been reading Star Wars: The High Republic. The first few issues were pretty good. They were readable. But this one, it's just kind of like, okay, here we go. Now we're hitting that low point before something big probably happens, and it's too low for me. I do not know if I will be continuing this one. Yeah, it's just mediocre, if not worse than that. Phantom on the Scan. This was like a last minute pickup for me. I hadn't heard about this. I saw a video of somebody talking about it, and I said, well, that sounds interesting. There's a comet that comes by. I think it's Halley's Comet, every 20 years. Comes by, and when it comes by, people are given powers. But those powers come at a price, and they are eventually killed off. Nobody knows how. So this guy, he's realized that something is wrong. He has powers. He sees a little ghost, and he thinks something is wrong. So he finds out the names of other people like him, and he gets them all together. And something major happens right at the end. Not going to spoil that, but now I'm super into it. I'm ready to see where this one's going. I know there was supposed to be another comic out this week that has a comet in it. Comet themes are coming back, I guess. But yeah, really good. The writing was good. The art's great. Definitely pick this one up if you can find it. Guilty pleasure of mine. I used to watch Beast Wars 25 years ago. Loved the show. Made a huge impact on me. Had the toys. My cousin has the toys. I think he still has the toys. But I picked this one up just for nostalgia purposes, and it didn't disappoint. And the story is actually, it's pretty good. It's a little darker even for the grown-ups that have been with it for 25 years. So it's not bad. I wouldn't put it up there with anything major, but like if you've got the time, you're like, let me just check this out, something light reading, this is the one for you. Beast Wars. The Picture of Everything Else. This is issue number 3 in the series. I picked this up on a whim, the first issue, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty much the sequel to The Portrait of Dorian Gray, which, if you know anything about that book, how messed up things can be. But the guy who painted The Portrait of Dorian Gray is one of the characters in this book, and he's found a way to almost reverse engineer the process of the painting to where not only does what happens to you happens to the painting, but what happens to the painting happens to you. And needless to say, it was a fairly gory scene the first time we encounter this. So take that into consideration. But the writing is very good. There's a lot of reading in this one for sure. It's almost could be a novel in itself without the pictures. But you know what? I'm enjoying it. I'll get the next one. Another kind of last minute buy for me. Batman, the Detective. Batman's getting older. Alfred's gone. The mansion, it's a big mansion. He's got it all to himself. He's not digging it anymore. So he said, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm going to London. And that is exactly what he did in this one. Turns out, in London, there's a group of people killing in his name. So now he's got that to deal with. It was a good issue. There's a couple characters in there. I'm not sure who they were. I'm going to go look them up later. But he's going to be interacting with some new characters I'm not familiar with. So that brought them to my attention. So that's not a bad thing. But fairly good issue. It's only going to be 6 issues. So it's not going to be that much of an investment for me. Okay. I know this one gets a lot of hate. And I don't know where it comes from. I think it's okay. It's nothing special. But you know, I don't hate it. I'm still invested in it. Just seeing where it goes. I love the covers, all done by Alex Ross. But yeah, I don't understand the hate in this book. But I'll continue reading it. It's nothing special. The story's kind of okay. The artwork's still good, but you know, people. Oh boy. King in Black, number 5. This was the finale. And Donny Cates doing what Donny Cates does. He doesn't end with a bang. He ends with a sigh. It just kind of ended. I don't get it. I feel like there could have been so much more done in this series. Not including all the tie-ins that they've had, which apparently are still coming out after the last issue. So their timing's a bit off. But I feel like could have been so much more story pulled out of this. There was a big bad. But nothing happened with the big bad. Ever. He stood around and talked a lot. But that's about it. And then it just kind of ended and you're just expected to accept it. I would equate it to falling into cotton. It's there. That's what happened. It's over. Donny Cates needs somebody to finish his books for him. Get Chip Zdarsky. Start with a Donny Cates, end with a Chip Zdarsky. You'll have a great series. Again, another one. Donny Cates. Prey finale. Ended with a sigh. Nothing. Like, he starts out strong. He builds up. And it's like waiting for the bass to drop. And it never drops, and it just kind of fades out. It's gone. That's kind of how his writing style, I'm learning, has been. And that's how this one ended, too. Black Cat, issue number 5, The Gilded City, part 1. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. This series is going places for me. When you introduce old characters and then introduce new characters that are gods that we've never seen before, you got me. Indiana Jones like. We're going after something miraculous, something science can't quite explain. Uh, the Fountain of Youth, almost, that level. Um, Great writing. The artwork is fantastic. Highly recommend this series. Can't talk enough about it. Hotline Miami Wildlife, issue number 8. This is the finale of this series. It was a good series, but it's kind of like you have to end it. You have to. And how do you do it? That's the hard part with this one. Like, I don't know if anybody knows the story. It's a group of these Americans that's kind of like, it starts in the 80s. The Russians are kind of just here. They're kind of infiltrating the U.S. Tensions are high. The Russian mobs are kind of taking over little towns, and people have had enough. So this group has started, and they give normal people these masks and send them out to take out the Russian mob. Well, where does that end? And with this one, it just kind of ends with you being normal. You just kind of have to go back into your life. I feel like there could have been a little better ending. Like a few loose ends were never really tied up in this one for me. But it was okay. It's over. Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon. I don't see enough people talking about this book. It's I believe a short mini run, which I know a lot of people dislike, but it's very good. There's a force trying to kill off the dragons, and I'm not too familiar with the Iron Fist story, the names and things, but I think Everything Under Heaven is what it's called. They're trying to take over that and then remove all the dragons. And so Iron Fist, Luke Cage, this little girl and her little dragon, this little troll guy, and even some people from Wakanda are involved in this story. Very good. There's zombies. Who doesn't love that? I mean, that's been a staple for the last 10 years now. But yeah, it's solid. I would say this is a solid series. And I'll be picking up the next one. I'll be finishing out that series for sure. Maestro War and Pax, issue number 4. I'm really digging this series as well. In this issue, Doctor Doom makes an appearance, and Doctor Doom is being what Doctor Doom is. He is. And I loved it. I loved every minute of Doctor Doom's appearance. As short as it was, he will be making more appearances in this series for sure. Maestro, it's definitely a good one. That whole post-apocalyptic world. He kind of wakes up in the future, and he's like, "What has happened?" There's just this wasteland, and he becomes the maestro of this city. Great series. I like seeing more history about the maestro. Bounty Hunters. This series has been up and down with me. I enjoyed this one simply because it was almost all about Bosk. The whole story, none of the other characters in it. I like seeing the old bounty hunters do what bounty hunters do. The main story where the main character is running away from the bounty hunters, he's lost his status in the guild and everything. It's okay. It's an okay story. Nothing to write home about. When you bring in the old bounty hunters doing what they do best, that's when this book shines. And that's what happened here. I thought this issue was pretty good. We'll see what happens in the next one, because it looks like they're going to go back to the old one. The one I don't like. Alright. The Swamp Thing, number 2. I'm digging this book too. It's a new, I believe it's a new human guy playing the Swamp Thing in this one. I could have said that better, I'm sure. But the Swamp Thing has been going night after night into the desert because there is a being that's kind of like him out there. He's not really an elemental. He thinks he is, I guess. But he's killing people thinking he's doing the right thing. But Swamp Thing doesn't think so. And Swamp Thing has a hard time out in the desert being the Green. So it was good. I'll be interested to see where they go after this issue, the way things ended. Oh man. The Scumbag. The world's fate rests with the worst person on it, and that is him. He is an absolute scumbag. Like, the worst type of person you can think of, that is him. And he gets superpowers from being a drug addict and thinking that the superhuman shot that he finds is heroin. This is not for children at all. There's nudity, there's sex, drugs, rock and roll. If that's your thing, this is the book for you. If not, stay away. It's hilarious. It's, if you don't like books to get too political, stay away from this one too. It's on the border for me because they make fun of both sides, but there's more than just black and white, and this book's not showing that, which kind of gets under my skin. But it's okay. You know, it's a fun read. Every time I see a new issue of it, I just start laughing. All right. The Joker number 2. Have not read this one yet. Haven't read the first one yet. I have it. I just haven't cracked it open. I just wanted to show off this amazing cover. Look at that. Fantastic. Know nothing about the series. I think it's mostly around Jim Gordon, maybe, if I heard correctly. But I'm super interested to see where this is. All right, down to the dollar books. The ones that I pulled out today at my local LCS. Heroes and Games, shout out. I loved this cover. I don't know if there's anything special about it other than the cover. That drawing of the Vision is fantastic. I mean, just look at that. Know nothing about the story, know nothing inside. That cover was the reason I bought it. Ghost Rider number 28. This is the first appearance of the Midnight Suns. Don't know too much about them either. Bought it strictly for the first appearance. Invincible number 1. This is the Image Firsts version. This is not a first print, so don't freak out. The first prints are going to be nearly impossible to get anymore in a decent price range, so I figured why not get the next best thing. Since the Amazon Prime show came out, I've been enjoying that as well. So I thought, why not pick this up, add it to the collection. Who knows, these might start going up pretty soon as well. Falcon number 1. I mean, the whole thing with the Falcon and Winter Soldier right now is it's hot. So I picked this book up. solely just, it's $1. It's a number 1. It's Falcon. Why not? Got the other cover. I believe they call this the trading card cover. Same book. Captain America number 1. This is the Marvel Knights Captain America. Another Captain America number 1 for $1. Love that cover. It's like an old war poster. Gotta love that. And then Captain America and the Falcon number 1. Same reasons. Falcon, Captain America, they're hot right now. And a number 1, why not? All right, I believe that is it. No, I should have. There they are. My mail call. I know this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to try to wrap it up real quick. Mail call. Amazing Spider-Man 546. I believe this is a reprint. I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't realize that when I bought it. First full appearance, I should say, of Mr. Negative. I'll be looking for the actual first print now, but I got an edition of it, so at least there's that. Avatars, Covenant of the Shield. This is like the Avengers back in the medieval days. You've got Captain America, who's obviously not America. I can't remember his name, but you've got people, new characters like the Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Johnny Storm, Hawkeye's in there, obviously. Bought it simply, it looks fun. It just looks like a fun read. And my last one, The Amazing Spider-Man Family. First appearance of the Spider Monkey, the Amazing Spider Monkey. Just another version of Spider-Man. The reason I bought it, the way things are going with the Spider-Verse, who knows if we'll see the Amazing Spider Monkey. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks. Like, favorite, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I try to do them at least once a week. But the way my work schedule is, I work every other Wednesday when new comics come out, and they're 12-hour days, so my comic shop is usually closed by the time I get out of work, so I can't pick them up until Saturday every other week. So I try to do them when I can. Thanks for watching. You guys are great. See you in the next one.